Hey, Bighara here, trying to do a quick stealth vlog entry here while I'm at work. Just popped into the lounge real quick. I'm going to talk today about the fluence, otherwise known as the Doppleganger effect. The idea being, when is a player not in control of their character? Basically, you got two main ways that can happen. One is magical or supernatural, and the other one is by virtue of a skill, like someone using a persuasion or bluff kind of a skill against the player character. Now, one of the questions that comes up is, when should the player be in control of their character and when shouldn't they? And the default is, usually they should be in control of their character. I mean, that's their avatar, their representation in the game, and they should have influence on what it does. Obviously, if someone has cast Charm Person on you and you failed your saving throw, to use a D&D-ism, then it's pretty legitimate that you should not be able to just do whatever you want. There should be some restrictions based on the nature of the spell or whatever was used against you. Likewise, if you've been taken out by a doppelganger, the DM may say, hey, can you role-play this? Can you act this out? And that can be a fun role-playing op. Same with the Charm Person or suggestion spell or hypnotism or what have you. When you get into the mundane skills like bluff or seduction or things like that, it gets a little iffier. I know in some versions of the game, they just simply say these skills don't work against player characters. You can't tell the player character, this guy's just really scaring you and you're really intimidated. Because he'll say, I'm not intimidated, I just stand up to him and spit in his eye. And I think that has to go a lot with the type of game you're running, and I think that needs to be handled up front. Because a player who feels like my character's a hero and he shouldn't be intimidated by some barroom thug or whatever it is thinking about one kind of game, whereas a DM who's maybe running what he considers a very gritty and low power game where you're just some guy just trying to make his way in the world, maybe you aren't so exceptional that you would be able to laugh that off. And I think that needs to be kind of hashed out ahead of time. I don't think the DM should just have full say all the time, but I do think that is something that if he's clear about it, then players need to respect that. An interesting mechanic I've seen sometimes is where you can kind of say, especially in a game where you use things like fate tokens or Savage Worlds bennies or things like the luck points, things like that, where you get these sort of counters where the DM can say, listen, fate does this, where you can say, I'm tapping this aspect of your personality, or I'm saying that this person's scaring you or seducing you or influencing you by persuading you or whatever it is. And basically what happens is, if I do this, then you get one of these little tokens and you get to use that later for like bonuses or re-rolls or things like that. If you want to resist it, you give me a token, which is something that the Fate RPG, that's their basic mechanism. But you can apply that in a lot of different games or some version of it. And I think that's a neat way to do it, where the DM can say, listen, you're going to get, as a player, you're going to be, in a sense, compensated for the fact that you're losing control of your character, at least for the time being. But you do have a way to buy your way out of it. But if you don't, and you just go with it, then you get a little reward. And that way, within the game context, you can see what may be considered a more realistic approach, where sometimes, people are complicated. Sometimes you don't really have control of your emotions. And sometimes it doesn't require that someone has cast a spell or used, hypnotic gaze or something like that to take control away from your actions to some degree. And I think that's fair, and I think that's realistic. But I do think it is something that doesn't translate to every style of play and every system as well as it might to certain others. Anyway, food for thought. And like I say, I only have a couple minutes here, so this is a quickie. That's all for now. Bye.